So, good morning, everyone, and respected Dice. No, Dice is before me only. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me thank DSTA for doing two good things simultaneously. One is allowing me to travel to Pune and to this part of the country, which is colder than the type of the climatic conditions we are having in the northern India, reeling between 45 to 50 degrees centigrade. So it is pretty cool here and feel like in being in heaven. So this is the first, good which happened to me at least. Second, I always wanted to be in Pune because in National Sugar Institute, I joined in the Pune cell itself. Uh, I don't think many of you may be knowing that National Sugar Institute used to have a Pune cell also earlier, and I joined in the Pune cell itself. And this particular topic is, as Mr. Bhatt said, is very close to my heart. And from the last so many years, I'm always very keen to speak on this topic and trying to see that why in sugar industry in India we are not trying to modify the process, the conventional process, what is the hitch. But before I go to the presentation, it is a very auspicious day when we are going to celebrate the happy birthday of Mr. Bhatt and Mr. Borode. So from the core of my heart, I wish all the best to both of you, a very happy, healthy, and successful life to both of you. And you keep, blessing all of us, keep showering blessings on all of us, taking DSTA sugar industry and country as a whole, forward. We are into an era of diversification. Now, whatever we are trying to emphasize upon, stress upon, discuss upon, is all about alternatives, substitutes, diversifications, integrations, and so on. Gone are the days when we used to talk about only sugar in the sugar industry. It happened with cogeneration of the power. It happened because of the compulsions. And the first compulsion was that we wanted to see our sugar industry economically sustainable. Making sugar in the traditional way, in the conventional way, was not enough to be sustainable, be viable, be competitive all the time. So we thought of value additions. We thought of how we can use the byproducts in an innovative manner, and then came the cogeneration of the power of power export. And at that point of time, when you are having fantastic tariffs, you earn money and you are comfortable with the power exports too. But we remained, with power generation only, and probably for a decade or so, we didn't think for taking anything more from the byproducts of the sugar industry. And again, the subtropical region was almost weeping with the quality of the sugarcane, booking recoveries to the extent of 9.05 only, 9.05, 9.25, 9.5 at the most. The famous or the infamous cyclicity of the Indian sugar industry. Prices of the sugar not remunerative all the time. Prices of sugarcane increasing all the time. How you derive the prices of the sugarcane, that always remains a mystery to me once I talk about the SAPs. FRPs may be decided by the CSCP, by the central government, but over and above FRP, you can always have the state advised price. So there were many factors, many attributes which were to be addressed. And then came ethanol. And ethanol was a many adverbs, many adjectives. You can frame the game changer, the money spinner.
Sure.
One product which has taken out the sugar industry out of the ventilator. And many other benefits. Why we are still looking for the diversifications and why sugar industry has to look for diversification. It is not about all about earning money or to be economically sustainable. Yes, agenda item number one is to be economically sustainable so that all the stakeholders can have a win-win situation. But then you have to look for your planet, your surroundings, your environment, your society. 2 days back, I got the privilege to meet Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma. He was the first man to go into the space. A story of almost 40 years back, he went to space in 1984. And he was talking on sustainability. He was talking all about, from sugar industry to any industry and how we can sail our boat in turbulent times. One thing is, whatever we are going to do, it has got a cost. There is nothing like free lunch. If you do something, it has got a cost. And if we people are doing something in the sugar industry, we have to look into at what cost. It should not be at the cost of the environment. It should not be at the cost of the surroundings. It should not be at the cost of creating injury to the society and creating injury to this planet. As he said, Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma, we have already carried out severe injury to this planet. We are talking about climate change. We are talking about global warming. We are talking about only 14% of the water in the reservoirs. 30 cities in India on the verge of having no water by 2030. By 2050, we are going to have water stress. The quantities of the water which you use will be, the supply will be half of that one. If you look into all these things, we have to play a major role. Sugar industry has to play a major role. We feel proud on any platform when we say we are the second largest producer of the sugar and the biggest consumer of the sugar as well. It is not because our per capita consumption is high, but because of the large size of the population which we have. But by any stretch of imagination, it is feel good to all of us that we belong to a industry which is the growth engine of the rural economy. If you look into the rural economy. Coming back to diversification before I go for the presentation, alternatives. Today we are going to discuss something on alternatives. What process alternatives are the different processes we can have for making different kinds of the sugar and why? I think Dr. Kulkarni should have spoken first because this topic is why this seminar is why we are having this seminar. So that would have given insight to all of you, rather to me as well, the logic or the reasoning behind conducting this seminar today. I will touch on few points why this is important. But to me, as a whole in sugar industry, it is not specifically sugar. Today we are going to talk about the sugar, but I will take permission from the President DSTA to speak something on overall sugar industry. What is happening to the ethanol also? Today we are talking about different processes. We will be talking about different raw materials also. If you look into the order of 7 December, law, you are not allowed to divert any intermediate feedstock from the sugar industry. What you need then? You don't need alternate feedstock. You need supplementary feedstock, which can supplement the paucity which is created, the space which has been created due to non-availability of the rice from the FCI, and since you cannot divert the intermediate feedstocks from the sugar industry. Some feedstock or a museum of the feedstocks may fill the gap. and then the process of the ethanol production as well. We have to look for how we have to harness the potential of the feedstocks which we are using in the ethanol industry also. Today we are looking for one thing only. If we do have the maize to ethanol. If we are having the sweet sorghum to ethanol. What is happening to, the byproducts which have been created in the ethanol industry also? Are we talking about the corn oil? Are we talking about the modification in the DDGS? Are we talking about the pelletization of the DDGS or high protein or protein rich DDGS? Densification of the DDGS? Or any other thing? So, the entire sugarcane value chain or any, raw material value chain is to be looked for harnessing the potential. Now, coming to today's topic, because it may be a sort of unending discussion and lecture. So, I'm going to be specific on the topic which has been given and which is a theme of the seminar today, which is about various alternatives for production of the sulfurless refined raw and farmer sugars.
Right.
So my agenda today is, what is the existing landscape of the sugar production in the country, what we are doing today, how we are producing the sugar, and what is, the consumption pattern and the commonly used or the conventionally used process of sugar production in the country. How we can have different processes for production of the sulfurless sugar or the superior quality white sugar, specialty sugars as well. Merits, demerits, critical evaluation, everything of that one. Whatever I can cover within given 20 or 30 minutes. Then something on sugar consumption, sugar and health. It has become a very important topic today. And only 2 days back, you might have seen the notification from the ICMR and the FSSAI about the food items or the beverages or the anything which is containing sugar in India has to be labeled as a high sugar content food product, and something is to be done for that one. Maybe, we are going ahead with the imposition of the sugary tax. Is it true? Sugar is the sole culprit for all your health problems, or this is something else? Unless we increase the sugar consumption, because what is happening from the last so many years, if you look into the data, if you look into the statistics from various sources, whatever consumption is rising, it is only because of the growth of the population, maybe 2% or 2.2%. It is not because of that we have started taking a lot of sugar. No. So even that pace, 2.2%, because the people are running away from the sugar. So we have to have awareness and we have to sensitize the issue. I think this is the duty of each and everybody, and we should take a sort of oath that every one of us will educate 10 persons that sugar is not so bad. हम चीनी बनाने वाले इतने खराब नहीं जितने खराब तुम मुझे समझते हो. सितारों से आगे जहां और भी हैं. There are so many other reasons which are affecting your health, and that I am going to touch in brief. And also about the sugary tax which has come into existence in many sugar producing countries just to curb the sugar consumption. Fortunately, this year we are going to have the highest ever sugar consumption in the country to the extent of 30 million metric ton. But thanks elections for that. Because of that, our consumption has increased by around 10 lakh tons. Otherwise, we would have landed between 285 to 290 lakh tons only. So this situation is, every year we are not going to have the parliamentary elections and elections all over the country and scorching heats. So don't expect that next year also we are going to have the sugar consumptions to the extent of 30 million metric ton. It will be somewhere around 28.5 to 29 million metric ton only. The other side of the story, which is very important and which should be known to all of us. Many of the, teachings, preachings I am trying to give, and the data I am going to quote is from International Sugar Organization and World Sugar Research Organization about the intake of the sugar, about the health issues, about the artificial sweeteners, and the commercial aspects which are behind promoting the artificial sweeteners. So I will come to that one by one. This, all of you know what we are doing in India and how we are structured surplus in sugar from the last couple of years. Now, we are not talking about any surplus of the sugar cane, but I hope for many years from now, we will keep on talking about we need more sugar cane because it is required for both the purposes. You need it for the sugar, you need it for making ethanol. So, this year we are going to have around, I have shown 31.7, but we are going to end up with 32 million metric tons of the sugar in the country, going to consume around 30 million metric tons of the sugar and having 22 million metric tons more of the sugar in our godowns. So this is the state of affairs, this is the scenario, this is the current scenario which we are going to have during the current sugar season. Now if you look into the landscape, the current scenario, what type of sugar you are making and how sugar you are making. 85% of the sugar factory still produce plantation white sugar by double sulfitation process. And since inception of the first factory in India in 1903, you have, some difference of opinion whether it was 1902 or 1903. Forgive me, by records of the government of India, it is 1903, the first plant which came. So, but as a matter of fact, we are having mostly the plantation white sugar by double sulfitation process. After crying for so many years, and I was happy to learn that one back-end refinery has come in Maharashtra now. So more to follow them, but elsewhere we do have a lot of refineries, and now around 80 to 85 sugar refineries are working, including standalone sugar refineries in the country. So that awareness has come because of the reason that we have sensitized the issue. National Sugar Institute and the associations like you have sensitized the issue. VSI, Dr. Dani is speaking on this subject from the last so many years, even about the consumption of the raw sugar. And because of the structure of the market, I will come to those graphics later on, because sugar is not a commodity now, and you should not see sugar as a commodity. You have to see sugar as a product, as a brand, serving the different sectors. It should not be like apple to oranges, because you have to serve different sectors. Maybe the pharmaceutical sector, maybe the beverage sector, maybe the bakery sector, confectionery sector, and ultimately ending up with the common consumer. So according to the need, according to the quality of the sugar which is desired by that particular sector, you have to produce the sugar. Most of the technologists, they know, and in fact every one of you know, what are the drawbacks with the existing double sulfitation process or with the quality of the plantation sugar, white sugar which we have. I remember around 15-20 years back, when we had surplus of the sugar in the country, we were finding it very difficult to export the sugar because of two reasons. With the quality of the sugar only, because at that point of time we were having almost 100% of the plantation white sugar, and the two main parameters or the criteria for export of sugar were the sugar should be below 100 Tecumseh units and the SO2 content should be less than 20 ppm. And sugar factories were finding it very hard nut to crack to produce a sugar having color less than 100 kamsa or SO2 content less than 20 ppm. Now, coming to the other industries, particularly the beverage industry or to the pharma industry, pharma industry may not be requiring any SO2 content in the sugar which you supply. Coming to the beverage industry, where they make a lot of money, like Pepsi, Cola, or any other beverage industry, flock test was a problem. So there were certain hurdles, and if you look into all these things, the process is also not very environment friendly because you are releasing a lot of SO2 gas into the atmosphere, which is also being inhaled by the people who are working in the sugar factories. Number two, about the sugar quality, which I already spoken, is stressed that because of many reasons, including color, including SO2 content, higher ash, higher invert content, and failing in flock test, it was not the most preferred. Under compulsion, people were taking it, but it is not the most preferred sugar for consumption by anyone. Recently, another phenomena which came into existence was you are diverting the syrup. There is a temporary pause because now you are not having the sugar cane, or next year you may not be having the sugar cane in the quantities which you need, and you are not going ahead with the diversion of the syrup in a greater way. But whenever you divert the syrup for making the ethanol, if you look and if you talk to the people who are there in the distillation sector, if you use the defecated syrup or if you use the sulfitation syrup, they will prefer the syrup which is coming from the defecation units. So another issue was in the case of the diversion of the syrup for ethanol production, there were challenges. Corrosion, almost, all of you know that it is bound to happen because you are working with low pH, and it is a corrosion of the process equipments and the machinery structures. And fifth is, again, today I will show you the requirement of the various segments, and if you want to produce any specialty sugar, maybe the cube sugar, maybe the candy sugar, maybe the icing sugar, maybe the castor sugar, maybe the pharmaceutical sugar, maybe the liquid sugar, plantation white sugar, or the sugar which is produced by the double sulfitation process may not be the first choice. And with the ETPs also, because your influence contains a lot of sulfates. Now, this is the consumption structure of the country where almost 60% of the sugar is going to the bulk consumers, to the industry, and 40% of the sugar is being consumed by the common people. And if we look into the industry, 30% is to the small business houses and 30% is to the industrial and bulk consumers. And you can see the sector-wise requirement of the sugar for different purposes. There is a growing sector. In our times, when, if I look back by 25 years or 20 years, we were not having a lot of bakeries, or the people were not tempted to consume a lot of beverages, aerated beverages, cake, pastries, colas. So we were not having that one. But if you go to any metropolitan city, or in fact to any city, you will find a lot of cafe coffee days or the barista or so on. So that way, indirect consumption of the sugar is increasing, and their sector specific requirement of the sugar is also there. So that is to be seen. So what market needs, you have to produce the same before I come to the alternate processes. So sugar production is to be carried out as per the consumer preferences and as per the market demand. It is not like apple to oranges. Again, consumer is more sensitive now, learned, they know, they talk about the safe food also, and this is the reason why we are having low sugars in the consumer packs, not being sold in the in loose. So this is important. Firstly, the market which you are going to cater, you have to produce sugar according to the quality which is needed for that particular sector. You have to serve the society also, and you have to look into your environment. You have to be economically sustainable, but you have to be environmentally sustainable too. Do you think the double sulfitation process is serving the purpose? Is it the greener process for production of the sugar? And if you switch over to some other process which is more greener, that should be adopted. Packaging, because COVID has given many lessons, and the one lesson was about the safe food from farm to fork. Anything which is packed under hygienic conditions, if you do have the consumer packing, it means you are sure about the weight, you are sure about the hygienic conditions, you are sure about the quality. So that should be the spirit. I know it took time for the sugar industry, because whenever you talk about anything new, the inertia comes into the picture, the attitude comes into the picture. अरे साहब 1930 से तो बोरे में बिक रही है 100 किलो की जगह 50 किलो का तो हो गया. If we are going to have the consumer packing, we are going to have the cost, and who is going to pay for the cost? But if you keep on doing the things, the people will fall in line with you. I never wanted to quote the name, but from yoke to entrepreneurship, if that can become a brand, if that particularly, you can sell any pulses, any grains, anything, even sugar or jaggery you can sell in consumer packing. Why can't sugar units do that? And I'm happy to see that many sugar factories now have gone for the consumer packing of the sugar, to the extent of the sachets and to the small 1 kg, 5 kg, 25 kg packs. Special sugars are very important, and I will discuss in one slide why these special sugars for the niche market. Gone are the days when you used to go to any hotel. Now you do have QSRs, quick service restaurants. You are having takeaways. You are having, chains of hotels in the country, because the lifestyle has changed. Because of many reasons, unwritten reasons, the perception, the narrative of the common people has changed. Higher income levels. I'm not speaking on an election rally, so I can dare to speak. The income has increased. Mindset of the people has changed. Urbanization has taken place. Sedentary lifestyles are there. Quality consciousness is there. So if you go to any hotel, you will find out two sachets of the sugar, one white, another brown, or you will find cube. So that way, sector-specific requirements have emerged, and you have to take advantage of that one. Sometimes Sundar Saab is there. I was speaking on some other day, and he was there, so I was talking about sometimes, a famous quote is there for the sugar industry people. Sometimes making sugar from the sugar cane is not that profitable as making specialty sugar from sugar. The only thing you have to look for how you are going to market your sugar. That is important. Any type of the trousers or the shirts or the saris or anything is there in the market at different prices, different labels. You have to see the size of the pocket of the consumer and his or her choice. So you have to go for branding of your sugars. चीनी नहीं चलेगी. मैं चीनी खरीदने नहीं जा रहा हूँ. पंखा खरीदने जाते हैं तो बोलते हैं ना कि ये चाहिए. I need this brand. Fridge this brand. TV this brand. Car this brand. Even now you are talking about grains. आपको राइस चाहिए तो ये बासमती का कौन सा चाहिए. So that way you have to talk about sugar also. कि मधुर है, कि शुद्ध है, कि whatever it is. So that impact you have to create in the market, and you have to take advantage of that, and you have to ask your consumers, particularly the industrial consumers, to come on table to negotiate with you on prices. That should be the spirit. But what is the hitch? Why the entrepreneurs or the sugar factories, particularly in the tropical region, are not tempted? We have many sugar refineries in the subtropical region, but still we are not having conversion of the conventional sugar factories into sugar refineries in a greater way in the tropical region. Even we are having the proven technologies for production of the sulfurless and the superior quality sugars from ages. Not from the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, but from the last 100 years, we are having the proven processes for production of the superior quality of the sugars, which are sulfurless, which can deliver you good quality of the sugar, maybe sort of refined sugar. But even then, you are not tempted to adopt those processes because the considerations may be higher capital cost and higher cost of production. We used to think about higher steam and power cost. Now you are into an era of diversification. Not today or tomorrow, but day after tomorrow, you are again going to divert the intermediate process liquors from the sugar house. And then you do have the idle capacities because you are not going to buy steam kit. You are having the spare capacities at the pen station, centrifugation and crystallization station. And then you are having the savings in the steam and the power. And not merely, the diversion. If you look into the steam and power consumptions today, and you compare those consumptions with the consumptions which used to have 20 years back, today we are talking about steam consumptions to the extent of around 30-32% only, with juice percent gain around 120%. We are talking about power consumptions to the extent of 20 kilowatt per TCH or 22 kilowatt per TCH in the process house. So there is a sea change, there is a measurable change in the situation. But your hitch, I would have liked it if you had given this version 10, 15, 20 years back. Then the question is very commercial. If I produce the sugar which you are suggesting, which Kulkarni Saab is advocating, which Dr. Dongre is talking about, which I am advocating, are we going to get the premium, or the cost of production is going to be less or more? So that equation, that equilibrium comes into the picture, and the entrepreneurs, they always look for that one. There are many other processes. I will come to all those processes because the $1 million questions sometimes come if you come out with the technology at the pilot plant scale or laboratory scale, how to take it to the commercial scale, how to convince the entrepreneur who is going to bell the cat. And unless you run it on commercial scale, you are not going to validate the results, and it is not going to happen. That is the problem. What process options we can have? All of you know, nothing new I am going to discuss, nothing new I am going to talk about. Phosphotation, and because refinery is a two-stage process again, the primary clarification and secondary clarification. So primary clarification may be either phosphotation or it may be carbonation, but the secondary decolorization may be any. It may be through ion exchange reagents, it may be through active carbons, depending upon the size of your refinery. It may be powdered active carbon or the granular active carbon. And recently, not recently, but people were having problems with the carbonation process, because I got the chance to work in sugar plants producing plantation white sugar by double carbonation process. Then I worked in sugar refinery having the carbonation process. People used to talk about two adversities or two major hurdles in adopting the carbonation process. I'm coming to the two things. One was about you were drawing the CO2 gas from the boiler chimney, the flue gases containing 12 to 14% of the CO2. Very high cost of scrubbing, compressing, and then using it. Second was about the filtration. Lawrence will vouch for me because that was cumbersome. Because once you are having a carbonation process, you have to filter your liquors. And that was a difficult task where you used to lose efficiency, sugar, and more of labor. Now, to circumvent the situation, you can have an option, one which is already in practice in many countries now in carbonation, which is not the carbonation which is by filtration, it is carboflotation. Pakistan is doing it, South Africa is doing it, Iran is doing it. Many countries which are, much behind us in the technological aspects, they are doing the carbonation by flotation. And secondly, now you do have the integrated distilleries. I'm not going into the plantation white sugar. I'm going for refined sugar or the sulfur-free sugar, good quality of the sugar, having a consumption to the extent of 40 or 50 only. You can draw that CO2 gas and you can go ahead with the carbonation process in the refinery. So that can also be done. So we have to look on all these things, how we can have different permutation and combinations, looking to the cost of production, the quality of the sugar, the acceptance in the market, and particularly the acceptance by the entrepreneur to whom we can convince. There may be many other, process, and I know our scientists are doing a lot on developing new processes. If I go back by almost 50 years, I see a process which is, what happened? Which was named as DEFCO melt crystallization process in 1970, almost 60 to 70. Because at that point of time, sulfur was imported and we were having a lot of issues in importing the sulfur. Then the technologists and the experts and the scientists of the country, they thought how to produce the sugar. Because by defecation process at that point of time, we were not having the continuous crystallizers or the continuous centrifuges or anything like that, the efficient process equipments. It was difficult to produce the raw sugar and to make it fit enough to consume. So they went ahead with a two-stage process, making the raw sugar, just melting it and recrystallizing it. So it was simply recrystallization of the raw sugar. And the famous tagline for that one was Professor S.C. Gupta, ex-director, National Sugar Institute, who invented that process or brought that process into reality. Recrystallization leads to elimination of impurities. So crystallization is more like, making sugar. It is much more like a clarification process. Because you are crystallizing only sucrose, only sugar, not the non-sugar portion. So that was the spirit, and a lot of factories from Bardoli to many, in Maharashtra, they conducted trials on this process. They could not produce on a commercial scale for long because of the challenges. They were not having continuous centrifuges at that point of time. That was the major challenge. And that, on 70s, we were having very high steam consumptions and the power consumption, so they could not cope up with this process. But today, when we are having fantastic steam consumptions and the power consumptions and very efficient machinery to take care of any viscosity of anything, this process holds promise. Directo Blanco, and partial refining. Because, we have to produce as per the market requirement, as per the economics. So can we have a process, because I think Dr. Kulkarni is going to speak on that one, or somebody else is going to speak on processing primary juice, conventional manner, having the secondary juice, making sugar, melting it, again adding to the syrup which is from the primary juice and making the sugar. Or something like that. So you can work on different processes, any other process which can yield, and we have to keep on trying. It is not like it becomes the law of the land and whatever we have said, that becomes the last word. every day we have to see, and every day we have to innovate. Tomorrow memories may also come, and the memories can do the duty of at least preliminary clarification of the sugarcane juice, because they have certain restrictions too. Many merits we attribute to raw refined sugar production because the process is more environment friendly with no emissions, as it happens in the case of the plantation white sugar by double sulfitation process. Quality is superior, we can always vouch for that, and it can cope up with the requirements of the various sectors. As whenever we are surplus and the conditions are conducive and sugar industry is tempted for exports, you can export the sugar too. The process is very flexible, because if you are going for the raw refined route or any other such process which we devise, if you are not going for the secondary decolorization, you can have one quality of the sugar. If you are going for the decolorization, the secondary decolorization, you can have different quality of the sugar. So as per the choice and as per the economics, you can maneuver the things, and you can have the flexibility, and you can have different qualities of the sugar. The keeping quality is always better. We used to talk about sugar keeping safe for 1 year only, but now we are talking about sugar to be kept safe for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Better revenues, that can be that can be discussed, and that you have to see, because you are going to increase the cost of production also. But one thing for sure, that this sugar, the sulfurless sugar or the superior quality of the white sugar, that paves way for making different sugar qualities, the superior qualities and the qualities of the sugar, the specialty sugars which are required for the niche market. If you are having that sort of the process with you, if you follow certain protocols in the same plant, you can go ahead with the pharmaceutical sugar production. If you just take the stream of the fine liquor, and you can go for production of the liquid sugar or the liquid invert sugar. You can produce cube sugar, you may produce any different type of the specialty sugar, and you can have the value addition. So that way your fine liquor or your sugar which you are producing, that becomes the raw material for making different kind of the specialty sugars. Syrup, I've already spoken that will be a better choice, and the people at the end of the distillery will be more comfortable once they are having the syrup which is diverted from the defecation route, and not having a lot of sulfates and anything in the influence, so you are having lower pollution loads on your effluent treatment plants.
Wow.
Certain issues which are there, always there, and entrepreneurs always look for that one, because you are going to have higher capital expenditure, because no doubt you are going to have more unit operations and more additions at different stages, maybe at the crystallization stage, centrifugation stage, and cooling, condensing, and all that. And slightly higher steam and power requirements too, which because now we are having more musket boiling and going in for handling of the sugars in a bigger way. So that is adding to something to your cost also. But can you get higher realization of the sugar too? Can you go for the different qualities of the specialty sugar? So that is going to offset, or in fact going to give you higher revenues than you used to get through plantation white sugar. So that is to be seen. Now coming to the specialty sugar market, it is having a reasonable CAGR, because entrepreneurs are also there, so I would like to focus their attention on the CAGR. You are having a CAGR of around 5%, 5.4% in fact, between 2023 to 2030. So it means you are going to have the assured market, and this market is because of the change in the market dynamics. Because you are having different, sectors to serve. The beverage industry is growing, the confectionery industry is growing, bakery industry is going at a fantastic pace. So that way you need specialty sugars for all these sectors, and don't forget pharmaceutical sugar.
Yeah.
Now we do have many sugar units in the country which are producing significant quantities of the pharmaceutical sugar in their units, to the extent of around 600 TPD. So that sort of production they are doing, and even they are exporting the pharmaceutical sugars under the whenever it is possible. So you have to think of innovations, you have to think for creation of the market, and you have to develop a partnership between you and your buyers, your potential customers. Rise in collaboration of specialty sugar manufacturers with food and beverage industry to offer customized specialty sugars. The takeaway is customized sugar production, not sugar production for the sake of sugar production. Because sugar production in a customized manner, customized sugar production includes specialty sugar production. And then, because we are having hard times, people are talking, I should not use that word, but the people are talking nonsense about sugar. So we cannot change the mentality of the people overnight. They will keep on talking that your sugar is culprit, your sugar is causing so many, health hazards, and it is not good to your health. But can we do something which can change the product profile? Can we come out with healthier sugars? As we and Dr. Dani used to speak a lot on why we Indians don't consume raw sugar, which is more natural. Don't call it as a raw sugar. It is not going to be a raw material for making the refined sugar. It is a raw sugar when it is acting as a raw material for making any other kind of the sugar. Consume it. Today's raw sugar is much better than the plantation white sugar which you used to have in 80s or 90s, having pole percent of more than 99. And once you are opting for the things which are more natural, you are looking for the jaggeries, you are looking for the brown sugars, who prevents you to take the raw sugar? Don't call it a raw sugar. And then you have to think of other healthier sugars too, because you have to change the face of the Indian sugar industry, the products which are coming out from the sugar industry. हमें चीनी उद्योग की दिशा और दशा दोनों बदलनी है. We have to change the situation, direction, everything of the sugar industry. So healthier sugar, we can start with the fortification of the sugar. Already you are having many food commodities which have been fortified. It is started with the iodized salt. It happened with the edible oils, vitamin A and D. And from the last couple of years, you are having the fortified rice too with vitamin A. We did certain experiment on fortification of the sugar with vitamin A, but still we have to go a long way. And you just see point number 2 and the last point. Reasonable prices of sugar, it is very attractive point for opting sugar fortification as the product is in the reach of every individual. Everybody is consuming sugar. And daily intake of the carrier is limited. It is not varying to a greater extent. It means if you fortify the sugar with vitamin A or any other nutrient, the dose or the intake is not going to change because you are taking the sugar in a limited manner. It is plus minus 5% this way or that way. It is not like that one day you are consuming huge quantities, other day you are not taking any sugar. So it is not happening. So to combat malnutrition or to combat any deficiency, sugar can be a fantastic carrier. And another thing which I wanted to tell you about, the second product which we are looking for is about the low GI sugars, which are not going to give you kick in the blood sugar levels. Already few companies have gone ahead with production of the low GI sugar, the low glycemic index sugars. But this is another area, another specialty sugar which is going to come into the markets in a big way, because again we cannot change the mindset of the people overnight. We have to create awareness and we have to conduct the programs, but we have to have more such products, more healthier sugars from the sugar industry. We did one sugar at National Sugar Institute, which was a sort of super sugar, which was blended with spirulina and basil. All of you know spirulina because once I was looking into the, just Google Guru. So I found astronauts who are going into the space, they carry spirulina with them. Spirulina is what? It is a microalga. It contains a lot of protein. So they take spirulina as a capsule or spirulina powder, and it becomes a full diet to them. Basil is tulsi, which is queen or herbs. So what we did, we blended the sugar with the spirulina and basil. Basil was a necessity because once you blend your sugar with the spirulina, a foul smell comes from the sugar. So you cannot relish that. So if you blend it with the basil too, the odor is gone, and you are having other advantage of having, basil, which is herb, into the sugar. So that becomes a super sugar, and I hope that one of the sugar groups in the northern India is going to launch this sugar during the next season. Already I've exceeded the time which was given to me, but quickly I will wrap my presentation. And it is very important because you people need to be aware about we sugar people are why the people are blaming the sugar people for all the issues. If you hit Google, if you hit any sugar related website, many such graphics will appear. Sugar is a sweet poison. Beware of sugar. Sugar inequality. Why sugar destroys your health. So all the internet is flooded with such slogans and such graphics where the people are not talking good about the sugar. But what is the reality? We have to bust the myth. People talk about sugar causes diabetes. इस बीमारी का नाम ही साफ शुगर है, डायबिटीज तो कहते नहीं है. तो because the people say कि शुगर है तो शुगर खाने से ही है. The way the people correlate the two things, because the disease is sugar, so it comes from sugar only. People forget about from where it can come. They blame sugar only. But if you look into the belief that eating sugar causes diabetes is the most common conception about the diabetes. Diabetes is genetical. Being overweight and leading an unhealthy lifestyle, such as not doing enough physical activity and poor eating habits. That is the main cause of the diabetes. It is not the sugar alone. If you are having the diabetes, please do not consume the sugar. But sugar alone is not going to cause you the diabetes. This is a misconception. Sugar causes diabetes. My warning is in red. Sugar is not going to cause cavities, tooth decay. It is the formation of the acid, which is due to the decay of the food, the oral, cavities. The most cavity causing food is crackers and breads, not the sugar. So, what is happening? People like us are confused whether to take the sugar or not to take the sugar. In spite of being very vocal on platforms speaking good about the sugar, or switching over from one kind of the sugar to the another kind of the sugar, even at a added cost. Because today we may say that don't produce plantation white sugar, but produce superior quality of the white sugar, refined sugar, or the low GI sugar, or whatever sugar. You will see we are not going to take the sugar because it is having a lot of effects on our health. So we are confused. So we are confused because we tend to overestimate the calorie content of the sugar while failing to recognize that other carbohydrates and fats provide the same or higher amount of the calories. We blame just sugar. So sugar consumption, and the big picture is calorie is, we talk about the obesity. There is no correlation between the sugar intake and the obesity. That has been proved in the survey which was conducted by International Sugar Organization in 136 countries. Even if you take more sugar, but you are not doing enough physical activity, you are not going to gain the weight. If you are taking less of the sugar but not doing anything, being lethargic, you can get obese. So fundamental cause of obesity and overweight is energy imbalance between the calories intake and calories expended. But to curb, because the people from the or the producers of the artificial sweeteners and earlier the WHO advisory also came into the picture. The countries are imposing sugary tax that if your product contains sugar higher than this, it is going to penalized with this additional tax, which is known as the sugary tax. In India, I've shown the sugary tax, but it is not the sugary tax, it is GST. On some beverages, it instead of being 18%, it is 28%. So that way from 18 to 28, 10% additional tax is because of, the nature and the quality of the product. So indirectly, it is a sugary tax in India also. तो क्यों खाते हैं ऐसा? Why the people are opting and why the people are promoting artificial sweeteners? If you go and you look into the commonly used carbonated soft drinks, the people are using ASK or aspartame. Important is to see the last paragraph. The purchase price or the cost of this high intense sweeteners per kg is very high. 1 kg may be in, thousands of rupees. But you need very little quantity of that one to get the same, sweetness in the drink. So that way, there is a cost saving. Initial cost is high, but since the sweetness index is also high, you need less quantity of the artificial sweetener to get the same degree of the sweetness. So what is happening? This is the other side of the equation. Why the people are running for the diet coke, low added sugar, low calorie and all that. And you are also running, we are also running. जिसमें भाई लो एडेड शुगर लिखा हो, जिसमें कि 0 कैलोरी लिखा हो, लो कैलोरी लिखा हो, that you have to purchase and you will not mind giving additional prices for that one. If you are going to buy a simple product which is having the sugar, for the same product, suppose you are going to give 20 rupees, if it is having low added sugar or the 0 calorie, you are going to pay 30 rupees. But what exactly the reason behind that one and why the people who are manufacturing these sweeteners are pushing? आप कोई प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं, आप उस प्रोडक्ट में 1 रुपए की चीनी डालते हैं. Say it is a hypothetical case. If you are having a product where you are using sugar and your sugar costs you 1 rupees. If you add ASK or aspartame, that costs you only 8 paisa or 4 paisa. It means in place of 1 rupee, you are spending or you need to spend only 4 paisa or 8 paisa or 10 paisa or 15 paisa. So cost of production goes down. On the other hand, you are having a clean label. 0 calorie, low calorie, no added sugar, something like that. And you are earning price premium too. So this is a graphic from the WSRO, World Sugar Research Organization, where they try to convince the people the actual scenario behind artificial sweeteners and the sugar and the policies which we are having and how they are dominating. And there are many side effects of the sugar alcohols too. And Lord WHO has also given a warning about the consumption of the sugar alcohols or the artificial sweeteners, that they are also not safe. So we have to be holistic, reasonable, logical before discarding the sugar. So to conclude with, for many reasons, you have to be, you are running the show and you are not running the charitable organization, you are into commercial units. So you are going to equate the in and the out. So, but there is a need for many reasons, because we are in this society and we have to serve the society as well. We have to look for the environment and we have to look for serving different sectors. So we need more brainstorming on that one, but conversion of the plantation white sugar units into other units, it should be it should be seriously thought of. Looking to the sector specific requirement, as I was talking about, we need different sugar qualities, including the specialty sugars, to serve the different markets. And since we are talking a lot, and the people rather are talking a lot on sugar and health, we have to change the product profile. We have to come out with the healthier sugars, and we have to talk about the ill effects, or the reasons why the artificial sweeteners are also not safe, and the commercial aspects of pushing the artificial sweeteners. So this is from my side. Thank you so much, President Mr. Bhatt, for inviting me and giving me this chance. I exceeded the time limits. For that, my sincere apologies are there. So thank you so much, DST, in fact, all of you, for giving me this chance to give my feelings before you. Thank you so much.